Hello. I might create another channel that refers to smartphone security and the Lineage operating system, which is just a modified version of Android that is put on smartphones. And this channel also might include information regarding apps. But anyway, I'd like to point some things out to you guys. If you have anything on your phone that you're concerned about being looked at, it is probably not safe. What I mean by this is that if it's on your phone, consider it not safe. Some people might say, "Well, gosh, I put things on a phone that doesn't have internet access, uh, doesn't have even a data, it doesn't even have a phone service." If it's on your phone, it probably can be attained. Some people might say, "Well, gosh, I can block the internet data, the data usage on my phone." Well, it's probably possible to upload data from your phone through a your phone connection. Yeah, I don't know, but it may be slow, but I think it's possible. Even if you have your data turned off, your phone still works. And I'm not an expert on this, but I think it's possible. Anything's possibly possible. And firewalls, if you put a firewall on your phone, there are things called backdoors, meaning a little thing in the program that of the firewall that can allow access through the firewall or the use of the firewall. Um, even if you're a very good computer programmer, in the language that is being used to create an app, that has been used to create an app, uh, you're going to have to check thoroughly this app. There's and even then, there's probably ways. If it's on your phone, it's not secure. Now, I like to point something out is that a lot of people have certain browsers. Some of them I'm going to refer to as UC Browser. UC Browser is now owned by a Chinese company. And you know how that goes with China. The government has its foot inside of the company if they want it. The Opera browser, the Opera Mini browser, which goes on the smartphone, is also owned by a Chinese company. Uh, Google, I think, which owns Chrome, or whatever the hell apps they have for browsers. You know about Google. Talking about, I'm not sure if it's what's worse, the Chinese government spying or Google. Probably the NSA is right through Google, or maybe they're one and the same. Who knows? Then you have Microsoft. What is it? Bill Gates. You trust Microsoft? They have a browser called Microsoft Edge, I think. You trust that? My suggestion is get the lowest size app that you can get at the browser. And if you know somebody or whatever, or if you can do it, check over the code of the app. Make sure there's nothing in there that shouldn't be, or like sending information to the certain companies or something like that of your activity. And if you don't know, your internet service provider, such as Verizon, Sprint, AT&T, etc. They know everything, everything that wherever you go, when you use your phone, unless you use a there's a little thing that you can put on your phone which prevents the it's a some people might call it a private network. Now a network, the definition I'm going to use is just a number of things that are connected together to get something done. Okay, that's my definition today. So you have this private network, and you can use this. It will prevent your internet service provider to see what you're actually doing when you use your browsers, internet browsers, but your internet service provider will know that you're using this private network. They won't know what you're doing, so that's probably a good thing to use. Of course, the private network, this little thing you put in your phone to prevent your to prevent help re, to prevent your internet service provider from knowing what you're doing. This thing might be hacked or also doing things that it's not supposed to do. They could sell the information that they get of your browsing activity to somebody. So you can't really even necessarily trust that. And then there's Tor, the Tor browser, which might be one of the best ones you can really mess around with. But they can sell it too, I figure. So what it comes down to, everything on your phone, all your activity can be watched, can be known. It's possible, I think. All of it. So consider it not secure if it's on your phone. You could have a desktop at your house, modem, no way it can connect to the internet. Well, that might be a secure place for it to be, but you better set it up so that if someone tries to access your desktop, that they cannot get to the information. Some people call that encryption, where you make it so that the information that is stored in your desktop is, when someone tries to obtain unauthorized access to your desktop information, that all they see is a bunch of a bunch of nonsense. They can't. It's all. It's the language has been all screwed up, so it looks like dollars. Like the word "and" might look like a $sign and a plus and an F. See, it's all been twisted, encrypted, so that only the authorized users with a certain password can see what the information is. Well, there's probably ways to get around that too. There probably are these programs that decrypt the information. It might take some time, but they probably can do it. Maybe. And then you can also put that on your smartphone, where they can you can encrypt your phone, so that if you have a good password on there, that they'll have a fun time trying to get to your data that's been encrypted, your whole phone. But there is one thing that can be put. There's another thing you'll have to do with your phone, is you have to make your there's a thing in your settings. I think it's under security, where you make your USB port non-functioning while the phone is locked. When I say locked, it means that it's waiting to be opened, unlocked with your password. You have to put your password in to use your phone. If you have it set up that way. Well, if you don't, if it's when it's not when you haven't put your password in it yet, that means the phone is locked. And what I'm referring to is if you can actually lock your USB port, so that when your phone is not active, the screen's not on, no one can. If someone wants to plug something into your phone and obtain access to your phone's memory, it will not work, because the USB port will be deactivated unless you put your password into your phone to activate your phone. Now, someone might say, well, the hell, they could just take the memory out of my phone and stick it into something else. Well, it's still encrypted. It's still encrypted, but they could stick it into, and see the software. I don't know. I'm not an expert on this, but they could take pieces of the memory of your phone and possibly be able to take it apart that way, with in bypassing, possibly bypassing the encryption, like the password. I mean, possibly bypassing the password and possibly bypassing other things to prevent. So let's put it this way: if it's on your phone, if it's anywhere where it can be found, if you have any information, it can be obtained. So, um, I now just the best thing to do is not have anything on your anywhere that you have to worry about. Now, now, if you haven't heard about this, I heard that Microsoft, their Hotmail and Live email addresses. Well, from what I understand, servers. I think a server is something that handles requests for searches of, like when you're using your phone, for example, you send a request out to get to let's say hotmail.com. Well, that request is sent to a server, and the server, I guess, is able to obtain the information. It sends it to you. That the information that you're requesting. Well, the problem is that supposedly, and I don't really believe this, but supposedly, I don't really believe who said it. Let's put it that way. I think it's the U.S. government said it. They said that I think it was maybe the White House or something like that said that over 10,000 plus servers were hacked by a Chinese hacker group. I guess they got all the email, a bunch of emails. They hacked it and messed with Microsoft. Now, I don't really necessarily believe this. But, we're told one thing, probably something else that happened. But I will say that all of my Hotmail email addresses have been down, as far as I know, for at least a couple weeks. I can't even get into them at all. I can't even sign in to any of them. I think Microsoft shut down their any access to the email addresses temporarily, at least, because of this. In other words, your passwords, your data, anything stored on it may have been obtained by people that shouldn't have obtained it. So if you ever get your email addresses back up, you might want to change the passwords severely, make them much more, and change them regularly. And also, you might want to get rid of Hotmail entirely, because I don't think Hotmail is encrypted. I think there are some email addresses that are out there that are encrypted. But the problem is that I guess they got the passwords anyway. So if you have an encrypted email account like that exists out there, they would have got the passwords anyway. You can go right into your account, get all your charge card information that they can get, phone numbers, contacts, what you purchased, all your private information. This was not just individuals. I think businesses, they obtained their email addresses too. So fun times. So like I said, assume that whatever you're doing on the internet can be recorded and can be watched. And everything on your phone or anywhere else that can be found can also be hacked, and the information you have stored can be looked at, inspected, and copied. Not giving me much hope, I guess, for security, but now one thing you can do possibly, if you're a programmer, if you know how to write code in Java, these are programming languages, which I'm going to refer to, such as Java, computer programming languages, Java, JavaScript, C++, Python, Kotlin, and there's many others. But if you're good, you could possibly modify apps that exist and shrink them down and inspect the code to make sure there's nothing in there that shouldn't be in there. Block all sending of information to anyone through the internet. And maybe set up a really good firewall. But even then, due to the fact that Android, they operate independently, right? So they named the software that is used in an Android phone Android. So I will say there are things that I can't even block on my phone. Like if I block certain things, if I restrict the internet access to certain things, um, the internet won't even work. Text messages cannot send image files, any files, successfully. So there are little tricks, but let's put it this way. When an app is humongous in size, I'm talking over 10 megabytes or even 5 megabytes. I'm going to call an app that is over 5 megabytes humongous. Because if they're over 5 megabytes, they probably have a bunch of stuff in them that shouldn't be there. Or at least things that I wouldn't want. And there's probably trackers of various types of things, snoop things. They snoop into your stuff. So, and when you look at YouTube being over 100 megabytes app, oh boy. And you look at UC Browser, I think it's 120 or 140 megabytes. UC Browser, very popular in Southeast Asia. I think in China possibly too, and same with Opera Mini might be popular, and it's probably over in the Western countries too. And the thing of it is, these things are owned by China. All right, so you get the point. I don't mean to. What am I going with all this? Well, at the very minimum, be aware. And I wouldn't use UC Browser or Opera Mini or Google Go or Google Chrome or Microsoft Edge. Um, just use something I'd recommend use something that's not very popular. And if you know somebody who knows how to do code, maybe they already have a app they wrote for a browser. Maybe they already created a browser, or maybe you can get it from them, or what they made, or you can actually pay somebody to make you a browser or modify a browser that you have and have certain features. There are people I think that you can pay to get exactly what you want. And same thing with other apps too. All right, that's it.